Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to introduce the 2025 Seattle Mariners roster in just a second. Just figured I'd keep you guys updated on how the rest of the playoffs went. The Rangers actually went on to be the American League champions again, and then they ended up losing to the Atlanta Braves in the World Series. So the Braves brought home a World Series title, which is not a big surprise. They're one of the best teams on this game. And the Rangers also one of the best teams on this game. The big thing about the Rangers last season, they kept everybody healthy. And I think when they're healthy, they're dominant. So I went through free agency. We are at spring training now of 2025. We're just going to go through some of the major highlights of the offseason as we go into the next upcoming season. So not a whole lot changed for our ball club. I've got a lot of players that I'm trying to develop right now. We're a younger team. So we kept most everything about the same. Julio, obviously, he's a 99 overall. Generational talent. You can see his stats are ridiculous. Castillo's still the ace. Kirby and Gilbert, those three guys are going to win us a lot of baseball games this year. I'm super excited for that. Andres Munoz, going to bounce back. He had a good year as a closer, but the ERA was really high, so hopefully he's back. Cal Raleigh, solid. Just solid all around. Matt Brash back in the bullpen. We love him. Jeff Hoffman, big signing here. This was kind of an expensive one, but I really wanted the guy with that kind of control you can see there. We bring him in. He's only 32, which I also liked. A low chance for him to regress. 91 pitching clutch is awesome. This is going to be a high leverage guy because he's got great control, great pitching clutch, low hits per nine. Doesn't really have many weaknesses. Great velo, great break. So that's cool. Like what he does there. And then, of course, Matt Brash. Kind of a similar story, just a little bit less of the pitching clutch. Great strikeout guy, though. Really nasty. Like what he does there. Garrett Whitlock, you remember we brought him on last year as a long relief or spot starter kind of guy. So he's back, obviously. J.P. Crawford, shortstop. Coming off a monster year, by the way. 156 games, 28 bombs. He almost had 30 homers. So that's crazy. It was a crazy year for him. If you look at his OPS, he slugged above 500, which is nuts. 885 OPS, crazy. Did not win any awards besides his Gold Glove in 2020. I thought maybe he'd be an all-star or something, but whatever. Bryce Miller, continuing to develop him. AJ Minter, another big signing that we made in the offseason. Brought him on as a nice lefty. A guy that actually can get lefties out and throw real well. Throws hard, but definitely known as a guy that kind of a pitch to contact guy, really. I mean, a cutter, forcing him in a circle change. He's just trying to get guys off balance, move the ball off the sweet spot of the bat. So that's fine. That works great for me. I'm happy with that. Mitch Garver, he's still listed as a catcher, but he's primarily going to be playing first base and DHing this year. Had a good year last year. 24 bombs, hit 265, just about what we expected out of him. He did miss a good amount of time because of injuries as well. Gabe Spire also back with us. We like him, another good lefty. So we wanted to be able to throw a lot of lefties out there. The bullpen is stacked this year. And then the guy that I've been excited about for a while, Harry Ford, will be splitting time with Cal Raleigh behind the dish. They're going to alternate DH and catcher because I want Harry Ford to develop. He hits lefties pretty well. His defense is solid as well, but we want to see that continue to develop. I want to see his bat at least get up into the 60s against both. I can live with that. I'm hoping his vision continues to get better, but we'll see. Doesn't have any quirks, which is too bad, but he's 22 years old, making his debut. Him and Cal Raleigh are going to be the catching tandem for the foreseeable future here. Like, I don't see any way that they're going to change at all. So those are the guys. Gregory Santos is back. Hoping that he develops a little more. Like last year, I felt like he threw pretty well, but didn't really develop much as a reliever. Gained a little bit of improvement to his ratings, but not too much. Mitch Haniger is back, playing right field. I know that was a spot that I wasn't sure if I wanted that, but he is on the final year of his $14 million free agent deal. We will not be re-signing him at the end of the year, just because he will be 35 years old. And we've got some plans to bring in some young talent. So this will kind of be his last, probably full season in the big leagues. Last year he actually played pretty well for us. So we'll see if he continues that again this year. I think he'll put up similar numbers, but I just don't want to be on the backside of that downfall when we have so much young talent. Josh Rojas is back. He broke his ankle, but he is back. He had a great year, actually, really, when you look at it. 129 games. He played almost every game until he got hurt. 284 with a 408 slug, not bad. Not crazy, but that's about what you expect out of him. 756 OPS, probably the highest of his career. So, going into his age 30 season, he's got 1 year left on his contract. Depending on how this season goes, he may not be a regular starter in 2026, but for now, that's kind of the plan, for him to be a regular starter now. He's only making $4 million. I think that's pretty good. Sedan Rafaela right now is kind of our top guy in our minors. The only reason he's not at the big league level is just the bat. He doesn't hit and he doesn't sim well. The Red Sox played him in 86 games last season before we traded for him. On base, 277, a slug of 337. I mean, just really poor hitter. So we're going to try to get those ratings up a little bit moving forward. Ryan Stanek is back. We liked him. Luis Arias, man on the hot corner. Once again, made some good strides last year with the bat. We're really hoping to see, especially against left-handed pitching, his offensive numbers go up. He's got good discipline and he's got good vision. So we like that. The only thing about Arias is his arm. You know, he's not the best at throwing the baseball, unfortunately, but other than that, we like him. He's got good potential. Ryan Bliss, we kind of had a debacle. I added him to the 40-man roster, and then I simulated a couple of days in free agency, and it took him back off the 40-man roster, and I didn't notice. Made him eligible for the Rule 5 when I deliberately tried to not have him be on the Rule 5 draft. Anyway, I ended up getting him back. I had to work some trades and stuff, but anyway, he'll be back. He's at the big league level right now. This will be his rookie year. Really a great thing about Ryan Bliss, he can hit lefties a little, but the defense is outstanding. He'll be a good piece for when J.P. Crawford needs a rest or Josh Rojas against left-handed pitching. That'll be great. Ty France is back. He won his arbitration case somehow. I don't know how. He played 79 games last year. He hit 318, which is great, but his OPS was only a 786. And they awarded him $7.2 million, and I was trying to pay him like $5 million. So I don't know how he won that, but he's back. He won't even start this year. He's going to be kind of a bench guy. Maybe can fill in here and there. Just solid against both, but just not better than Mitch Garver and not better than Harry Ford, really. I want Harry Ford to be getting regular at-bats. Dylan Moore, he's just the all-around utility guy. He's been great for us in that role. Not necessarily the best player, but good defender, tons of position eligibility, can literally play everywhere. We do like what he does. There's Ted Arnson. He was our second baseman that we drafted. We had a lot of high hopes for him. He's going to start in AAA. He's one of our top AAA players, so hopefully he continues to do well there. Dominic Canzone will be our fourth outfielder. I just love what he does. I think he's got a lot of potential to be great. I just want to see him continue to do well. And then moving on down the line, there was a couple of other things to touch on. Nothing major, like I said, as far as free agent signings or anything. The only thing is Taylor Trammell will now be a full-time guy at the big league level. We're going to try to start him every day. It's going to be a little rough against lefties, but his defense is really great. He plays defense real well. I think in left field, it'll play great. And then also, he's got 76 power against righties, so he's going to hit some bombs. We just got to try to get him consistent at-bats so he can develop. Clase is at the big league level right now, as well as Samad Taylor. I don't think I'm going to keep that when spring training ends. All these guys are kind of at the big league level right now for spring training, and then we'll make those roster adjustments as we go. So that's kind of the breakdown of us. Not a whole lot of changes. It's going to be the same group of guys. We had a great team last year. We just ran into some injuries. What I'm really hoping is these guys continue to develop. I think with our starting pitching the way that it is, and our bullpen now is really, really good. I don't know if I showed you guys that. Here, let me pull that up. Whitlock, Minter, Santos, Stanek, Spire, Brash, Hoffman, Munoz. That's going to be the core group of guys. It's going to be sweet. Super stoked about that. Now, let's take a look at some of the other teams around the league. We're going to look at the Rangers first. They won the American League pennant last year. more of the same from the Texas Rangers, man. A lot of good hitters. Jonah Heim has developed into a monster of a catcher. Outstanding. Marcus Semien still doing his thing. Kind of had a bad year. DeGrom, Evan Carter. You know, it's the same sort of team, dude. Just a bunch of dogs on this team. One of the best teams in baseball if they are healthy. And they beat us pretty good in the AL wild card. Kind of tough for us, but it's going to be a long road getting ahead of these guys and holding a divisional lead. Just a very solid team all around. But I think if our guys develop the way that we want, we're going to be putting the heat on these guys a little bit. The Diamondbacks did sign Juan Soto. So the Diamondbacks now have Soto and Corbin Carroll, which is absolutely wild. It's going to be a nightmare against right-handed pitching. There are some really, really good teams in Major League Baseball right now. Back to our division. Oakland A's did actually make some interesting moves. They acquired Fried and Shane Bieber, which really shores up their pitching staff. It's actually turned into not a bad pitching staff. I like this. You know, when you run down and you look at this, you're like, okay, not anything super ridiculous, but not bad. We'll go back and take a look at their whole roster. Stephen Kwan was a guy that they acquired last year. Just a solid outfielder, nothing crazy there. And then a lot of young talent there. You know, Ryan Noda, still going to be good. Esteury Ruiz, still going to be swiping bags like he does. Tom Hirsch, this was a guy that we were very excited about in the draft last year. He actually got drafted by Miami, is now on the Oakland Athletics, which I think is a great move for Oakland. This is a guy that could be a generational talent, seriously. I mean, he's 18. He's already developing some pop against lefties. His defense is looking decent. You know, he's got some speed. The big thing is his plate skills, right? Vision, discipline, and clutch are all pretty good. So keep an eye out for Tom Hirsch in our division. They kept Soderstrom, which is good because he'll be great. Mason Miller. So they've put some interesting pieces together. It's not a great team, but it is definitely a team that we will be keeping an eye on moving forward. I do think they've got some good pieces now. And then we look over at the Houston Astros, who made the playoffs last year as well. The big thing here is Yordan Alvarez is still Yordan Alvarez. Kyle Tucker has become ridiculously good on this game. Brian Abreu, the relief pitcher, good. Bregman, Bregman came back. He was in the free agent pool. I gave it a look, but it just didn't make quite enough sense for me. I really wanted him to hit lefties, and he hits lefties the exact same as Luis Arias, pretty much. And he's going to come at like a third of the price. So I kept that. Altuve's still there. His defense has been terrible, but he's still there. He's still got a few years on that contract. It's going to be rough for them. Hader, Framer Valdez, just, the Astros being the Astros, still an insane team. So you can see here, Aaron Judge, obviously, Garrett Cole. The Yankees signed Pete Alonso, which is absolutely terrifying because he's going to hit baseballs out of that ballpark like it's a bodily function. They got him for pretty cheap, actually. But he did want to go to a contender. It's just crazy that he goes across town. That's just absolutely wild. But it makes sense. He stays in New York. And he's going to continue to hit absolute nukes, which is good for them. Anthony Santander, also a big signing. This was a guy that we looked at a little bit, bringing on. It just didn't quite make enough sense. I did like the switch hitting, but he just wasn't as good against left-handers as I would have liked. So we did not sign him. He actually got a pretty gentle contract there. 3 years at $5.5 million each. Probably could have signed him for that and been okay with it, but Yankees look good again. Not much else to say about that. I don't know what they're going to do with Anthony Rizzo, but they'll figure it out. Spencer Jones. Yeah, there's Stanton. Stanton will be back. Stanton had a pretty good year last year. Not terrible, I guess, but good enough. So there you go. that's kind of the breakdown of our team right now as it stands as we move into spring training. Anyway, so there's your breakdown there. If we look towards opening day, oh, we can't even look towards opening day. We'll do some simulating in here. I don't think I'm going to play any spring training games. I'm just not really interested in doing that. So I'll probably just jump right into opening day, and we will have a bunch of stuff to do. We'll have that draft class to scout, which I'm really excited about. I think we're due for a really good draft class. Last year's was a dud, so that'll be cool. We'll get to move forward from there. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next one. Y'all take care.